The way a Sigma male disappears feels different from how many friendships fade over time. He responds to every message one week, and then his inbox is silent the next. No rage, no spectacle, just a seamless transition into oblivion. Friends relive past discussions in an attempt to uncover hints, but they frequently fail. Inside his private math, where independence and concentration are valued more highly than social customs, the true signals resided. He moves away whenever the numbers start to go out of balance. However, what precisely makes them break up contact and disappear? This article examines the reasons behind the disappearance of Sigma males. 10 quiet triggers that cause them to disappear. 1. Praise eventually becomes pressure. Early in any relationship, positive attention seems innocuous. The Sigma's efficiency is praised by a pleasant coworker, his dependability is praised by a neighbor, or his insights are highlighted by an online community. At first, these affirmations could feel like gentle, uplifting breezes, subtle recognitions of worth, but the original form of a compliment is rarely maintained. Over time, those compliments gradually change into modest requests that imply dependence. These modest demands gradually build up into implicit expectations, which in turn become full-fledged commitments wrapped in well-intentioned flattery. The Sigma begins to pick up on the tiny change. What started out as recognition now feels like politeness wrapped in pressure. The compliments are now levers that try to affect his time, choices, and energies rather than being there to boost. When social currency is traded for ongoing performance, what was formerly voluntary starts to appear transactional. He always comes up with the best ideas, which makes meetings last longer. He is the best at handling tasks, thus they come late on his desk. The Sigma observes that implicit duty has replaced discretionary contribution. He leaves while goodwill is still strong, rather than waiting for admiration to turn into invisible handcuffs. The departure appears abrupt from the outside. He views it as a proactive move to prevent more animosity. Vague bonds time value test failure. Every block of time is viewed by the Sigma as a finite resource that needs to be used to either increase knowledge, strengthen trust, or replenish energy. He conducts a short audit when social gatherings turn into monotonous small talk, group conversations turn into rehashed gossip, or excursions seem habit-driven. The Sigma discreetly starts the process of disengagement if the hours he devotes result in no development, motivation, or sincere emotional bond. He allows the calendar to empty itself consciously in order to rebalance his inner equation, not out of resentment or complaint. His attention naturally shifts to activities that yield more rewards, so messages start to receive slower responses, not out of malice. He doesn't respond to invitations, not because it worries him, but because he no longer finds satisfaction in the same old chatter or required attendance. After a while, his place at the table is vacant, and his absence is rather noticeable. Instead, he deliberately reroutes his time to high-yield investments. Solitary study sessions that nourished his mind, contemplative walks that revitalize his soul, prolonged sleep that reestablishes his biological rhythm, and focused skill practice that fortifies his abilities. These decisions are calculated investments rather than decadent getaways. For the Sigma, protecting his time is no more important than protecting his savings account, because both safeguard the money of personal development and make sure that resources are only used where real returns are anticipated. Third 3-time, retreats with a deep focus, quicken growth. A Sigma guy understands that sporadic work will prolong the time frame when he announces a large goal, such as finishing a certification, publishing a book, or regaining strength. He develops a confined environment to compress it. Notifications stop. Social media sites have been logged off. Voice calls can only be made during prearranged times. The Sigma man purposefully creates an atmosphere that is ideal for immersion, eliminating even brief distractions or casual check-ins. This deliberate detachment is about amplification of thought, discipline, and productivity, rather than avoidance. He enters a stream of intense concentration in this silent barrier, where concepts develop uninterrupted, patterns flow together, and momentum builds up rapidly. The mind achieves depths of understanding that are frequently unattainable in everyday situations when it is free from social noise and multitasking demands. Months at a typical pace are equal to weeks of alone, as consistency and clarity speed up growth. Results stack precisely, concepts solidify more fully, and skills improve more quickly. When he eventually comes out, he's not simply a better skilled worker. He's a changed person, shaped by stillness, rooted in purpose. He sees the blackout phase as a temporary borrowing from his social life that will be repaid later in competence and stability, while others may see it as conceit or indifference. 4. Individual development outpaces known circles. Long-lasting change is how the Sigma gauges progress. In reaction to fresh realizations, he modifies his routines, habits, and viewpoints. Conversations that used to be lively eventually start to seem the same. Plans for the weekend that used to feel exciting now seem cliched. When longtime friends are asked to discuss new pathways, they frequently nod politely but blankly, indicating that they hear him but don't fully comprehend. The emotional lag and mild uneasiness that others experience when faced with change are perceptible to the Sigma. He takes a step back rather than pressuring them to adjust or slowing down his own advancement in order to stay comfortable. He is aware that pressuring people to align themselves can lead to animosity on both sides. Rather than forcing people to keep up with him or acting as though he hasn't changed, he respectfully lets distance develop organically. It's a silent acknowledgement that their paths have diverged and that continuing on together would only slow them down, not a rejection. The friendship is archived, maintained in its most significant form, without being warped by irreconcilable evolutions, rather than discarded. He moves forward with gratitude rather than resentment because he understands that growing up frequently entails leaving behind places that were once thought of as home. 5. A single snap. Tears trust. Trust can change for many people. It heals and bends. For the Sigma, however, it is a pane of glass, whether it is broken or not. It can be dissolved in an instant by a casually revealed secret, a broken promise, or jealousy of his success. Instead of constantly watching to fix it, the Sigma just leaves. No dramatic exits, no courtroom sequences, nothing but quiet. For the Sigma, a single clear break is preferable to gradual emotional deterioration, even though the other partner could feel caught off guard. Being perceived as forgiving is not as crucial as protecting his mental sanity. 6. Mental bandwidth is depleted by constant drama. Drama, including gossip, emotional roller coasters, and heated takes, is what some networks thrive on. The cycle is visible to the Sigma: dispute, apologies, repetition. He steps out instead of acting as the referee for all time. He might stop participating in group conversations, turn down invitations, or move locations. His long-term objectives advance and his creative vitality returns with distance. He chooses calm skies in a different emotional climate, even though the mayhem might still exist without him. 7. Resetting the environment. Restore your viewpoint. Routines, no matter how strict, can grow boring. The Sigma hits reset when the days begin to merge. He might reorganize his living area, reserve a distant cottage, or shut off all screens for many days. He examines his life in that quiet, clearing out old objectives, honing his vision, and creating a new timetable. While others may be concerned or unsure, the Sigma views this reset as preventive care that keeps his life in balance before it takes a wrong turn. 8. Short action takes the place of long explanation. Justifications encourage compromise, guilt, or emotional strain. These conversations are exhausting for Sigma guys. Rather than discussing boundaries, they take action. He completes things and quits if his beliefs are not upheld at work. He allows a relationship to end if it gets one-sided. Misunderstandings are avoided by taking clear action. He describes it as efficient and honest, whereas others could describe it as frigid. 9. Social conformity is not as important as internal alignment. Sigma guys frequently utilize internal criteria rather than external praise to gauge their progress. They retreat when routine, peer pressure, or social reward cause their lives to veer away from that compass. Internal misalignment causes them to recalibrate, even if everything appears fine on the outside. Those around them get perplexed as a result, unable to comprehend why someone would veer off what appears to be a stable course. However, the Sigma simply needs the silent clarity of his own beliefs to change, not approval. 10. Clarity is blocked by emotional noise. Sigma males are drawn to clarity in their thoughts, feelings, and vision. That clarity is obscured by emotional noise, such as unspoken expectations, subtle manipulation, or passive-aggressive behavior. Instead of solving emotional puzzles, they completely leave the maze. Their leaving is an act of self-preservation, not a chilly one. It guarantees that their brain will always be a place of lucid reasoning rather than emotional haze. In conclusion, disappearing is more about refining than running. A Sigma male's silence is not a disappearance when he crosses the line into the crowd. We need to recalibrate. He evaluates everything that blurs his boundaries, whether it be routine, noise, or out-of-date commitments. The departure seems sudden to others. For him, it's just the moment at which staying is more expensive than leaving. He isn't running away in the silence that follows. Rather, he is getting ready to become the next iteration of himself. Do you think these points are valid? Leave a comment below with your experiences. Check out our other videos if the Sigma